Hello there, Bic Benedict here. We're playing God of War 3 on Chaos difficulty, and this is my Pain Plus guide and walkthrough. We're currently on installment the 26th, and this is the fight with the Hades Cerberus breeder. And I'm not going to sugarcoat this for you. I'm not going to say it's extraordinarily hard, but I'm not going to say that it's in any way easy. The fight is very difficult, the fight is very stressful, and you get damage heftily. There are no one-hit KOs like on Scorpius, and as I mentioned on Scorpius, this is more of about what you can bring to the fight with your skill, experience, and your ability to absorb the video and see if you can put any of my tactics to use to be able to help you if you are struggling. And I think that it's a much better fight in that regard, so that you're not depending on the computer to give you a chance when you can be the one that decides what's going on over here. So always be doing what I'm doing now. You stay at the edge of the arena and you spirit whore as much as you can. There's such a thing as extending your spirit whore out a little bit by inputting the 5 squares and then moving over to him a little bit and then pressing the T finisher, because if you do it that way you'll still have the T finisher, but it will come out a little bit later, and that will give you a little bit of travel time over to him so that you can walk over to him a little bit, still preserve your T, and then when you're nearer to him, use the T finish, and that should be perfect for spirit whoring. Now, what we're doing now, staying at the edges of the arena, that does work, but if you get too close to him, he will charge at you. There is no incentive to parry, so just block. But if you're more inclined to parry, just parry. One hit from him, one hit from his all his faces when they hit you and bite you, deals 3/4 of your damage away. Now that's a lot, but is it a one-hit KO, as in the Scorpius boss fight? So you've got to think of those little small blessings on this fight. So spirit whoring, and that's just this phase. You're going to be doing a lot of dog kicking. Don't worry about the dog kicking. Just grab the first dog that comes along, roll away with the iframes, preferably left and right when you roll, or forward, but try not to do backward. I do like backward for this fight, rolling backward, but you do have to realize that when you're rolling backward, instead of rolling left, right, or up, you have the fewest amount of iframes. Okay, so now we have one satyr spawned in. You do not want to kill this satyr, okay? You want to bring this satyr into phase 3 so that the Cerberus mongrel can only spawn one brand new satyr into the fight. If you kill this satyr now, you'll have 2 brand new, fresh, full HP satyrs to deal with in phase 3. So ideally, if you had a really good handle on exactly how many super plumes this guy could take, how many dogs he could take, I'm talking about the satyr, you could carry him into phase 3, and this would just be the absolute ideal situation. It's not easy to do that, but if you could get him into phase 3 where he just had like one grab left from you, like an aerial grab, or one dog left to kick at him, or one more super plume would end him, that would be absolutely great. I don't do the Hermes dash or the jet dash per the rules of the walkthrough, but you want to find areas where the satyr is far away from you, where you can unreservedly use your spirit whoring to attack the dog. Now, you don't want to ignore the satyr. You want to be kicking dogs at him, and while you have no control over where the dogs go, generally speaking, if you face an enemy and then grab a dog, the Kratos will kick the dog at the enemy that you're facing. So you can control it in a certain extent. But you just need to be very careful that you are all the time doing distributive damage. Or if you want to focus on just the satyr at first, focus on him. But what I don't like to do about that is sometimes he kind of incorporates himself into the fight, gets too close to the dog, and it makes for a ruinous situation. But remember what I said about the satyrs in the Olympus Guardians. When you jump, they taunt. So jumping and making them taunt will give you time to rev up a super plume, and it will prevent them from walking over to you for a moment. Okay? So the edges of the arena for the dog to subdue him, so he'll perpetually taunt. Although there are times when he gets out of it. But and then of course jumping to cause the satyr to taunt. And if you want the satyr to come over to you, if you want to do an aerial grab with air S's and then a throw, that's what I'm going to do over here. But you have when he hits you, you need to make sure that you move Kratos to face him, and then go in for your launch. Now I didn't do any air S's over there, and I'm not sure why. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But it is in your best interest to always do 5 or 6 air S's before you throw him, because you're dealing him more damage that way. However, if you think that you've been dealing him more damage, don't do any air S's, just throw him. And if you ever need to get the satyr out of your way and you don't want to put any damage on him, let him get close to you, just launch him up, knock him down, and move away from him. That's all you've got to do. Because this gets really stressful when there's 2 of them. And I did this about 2 times where I got to phase 3 without taking damage. And it might have happened here too, but I always buckled under the pressure. Found out that I had things I didn't know what that was going on. Some things that escaped my notice under the stress of this situation, because it's not easy. It really isn't. It's a difficult fight, and it's extremely stressful because you've got a dog that can hit you, and if you don't block properly or parry properly, it takes off 3/4 of your life. And then you've got satyrs, which are very threatening enemies, perhaps the most threatening in the game, and also the most dangerous in the game too. And they can do an unblockable attack. So if you see him trying to jump up onto the geometry and jump down on you, you need to get the hell out of the way of that. I'm not sure if you can parry that unblockable, but I wouldn't risk it. I really would not risk it. But do you see how I have to extend myself? I've got these guys way over to the right, and I've got to draw out my last. Did you see? I did it right there. I inputted all the squares, and then I walked over to him a little bit, knowing that I had a second or two to spare before I pressed the T, and that gave me a little bit more travel distance over to him, and I still was able to press T. However, you need to keep a close eye here on which of the 2 satyrs was the one that was in the previous phase, the one that's near death. Okay? And I believe that one is the one I'm going to focus on. He's possibly the topmost one. So this is the best and most ideal way to do this situation. Okay? Bringing a wounded satyr into phase 3, so that you don't have 2 fresh full HP satyrs in the last phase. And I'm sitting pretty here. I'm thinking I'm going to do this fight no fucking damage, and I getting my hopes up, and am I really going to do it no damage? But this was not a fight that I wanted to do no damage. It's just too long and too stressful, and I just don't mind taking a little damage. The funny thing is, you kind of have to do it near to no damage or no damage because of the amount of absurd damage that you get dealt. He shoots fireballs too, and those also take off 3/4 of your life. It's absurd. But you also want to be looking for open lanes to safety when you're caught in a bad area. See, there's a lane in between these 2 satyrs. I might make use of it. because I've got the Cerberus subdued, these dudes taunting, and I might just make for a quick roll out of here, or a glide. And keep jumping to keep those ones up there taunting, and then get a little bit closer to the dog. Oh no, well, I'm trying to ascertain, well, not, there's no way for me to ascertain which of the two satyrs has less HP, but I'm trying, since they're clustered together, see if I can get one of them killed. Oh fuck. That wasn't too much damage I received there, but he didn't full combo me. You also can take a little bit less damage from the fireballs if it doesn't make direct contact with you. So I didn't want to say that you get 3/4 damage unequivocally. There you go. I missed. Thanks. My launch missed. He was going to hit me. The game, I know, won't turn me to him unless I press forward to him on my control paddle. And what happened was I fucking missed because the launch is an abysmal fucking failure. And I missed. And I had to get out of there quickly. Fuck you, assholes. Hate that. It should face him to the enemies automatically like it does in Ascension. Bullshit. It's such fucking bullshit. So, where do you want to take this fight from now? That should be your question. I would say, since the Cerberus has so much life, you really do need to get the one satyr from before out of here as quickly as possible. But it's so difficult when they're moving around so much. Who's who? There's no way to tell unless you've been keeping a very strict and keen eye on what's going on over here. Try to kick dogs at them. That's great. But it's always doing the combat roll. That was close. And always looking for open lanes to safety. I can't tell you that enough. Okay? I see kind of an open lane here. Take it, Bick. Did he block? Fuck him if he blocked. Here I'm in that situation where he was going to attack me. So I'm going to try to face him if I possibly can. One of these ones will walk over to you. If you don't jump, they will walk over to you. But I saw a nice little area over here to maybe do some spirit whoring. Get one of these fuckers out. But it ultimately fell to me to do better distributive damage on that first. And please allow me to clarify that. In phase 2, I did not hit the satyr enough to give myself an advantage on phase 3 where he would have lower life. In effect, I brought the first satyr into phase 3 from phase 2, and I had not hit him enough. Just plain and simple, had not hit him enough, and that caused me some problems over here. I'm not saying that it cost me getting hit, but it definitely caused stress. You know, when there's 2, there's more stress than when there's 1. So now we have one satyr that we've hit a little bit, but we really haven't hit that much. So we're definitely going to have to spirit whore as much as we can, kick dogs at him. And you might wonder, well, should I go after the dog or should I go after the satyr? Who could I put down quicker? Because if it's just one satyr left, it's a cakewalk. But again, the dog, even though in phase 3 where he has a little bit less life from phase to phase, I still think he's going to be a problem to put down before I can put down this satyr. And it might be more advantageous for me to just play around with this guy, let him walk up to me, and do those launches that I mentioned while incorporating spirit whoring and chipping at that dog as much as possible. So I'm gonna let him walk up to me. I don't think I failed this one. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a throw. I was hoping that would kill him, but I knew it wouldn't. Okay, so we've got a decent situation here. We've got a satyr to the left. If I fly over to the right, I can spirit whore on that dog, but I'm kind of indecisive. I think I want him to walk up to me so that I can turn and missed. Now, that was my fault. That was completely my fault. It was not the same thing that happened a moment ago when I clapped. I turned too far, and it was my mistake. But did you see those fireballs? You have to shoot fireballs when someone gets to phase 3, you piece of shit. But now it's just kicking dogs back, as you've been doing the entire time you've been here, just dog kicking. And that is, I think, the best way to handle that situation. And I hope that you don't have too many troubles doing that. But I do want to warn you that it is quite difficult, very stressful. You're dealing with enemies that can hit you very hard and that are very dangerous. So remember, the quick roll always. Try not to roll backwards, but you still can. And always be looking for open lanes to escape to safety. So I will see you in the next installment. Please take care.